Let's look at how to sketch sine, cosine and tangent. Now we're going to sketch these graphs for values between minus 450 and 450. However, all of these graphs do extend out beyond those values. So let's start with y equals sine of x. Now the first thing to note is that sine of x has a maximum value of 1 and a minimum value of minus 1, and that it starts at the origin. The way the curve looks is, it starts at the origin, it then goes up to 1 for 90 degrees, so something like this. It then comes back down to 0 at 180 degrees. It then goes down to minus 1 at 270 degrees, and then goes back up at 360 degrees. And this whole cycle continues, so from 360 degrees to 450 degrees, the curve then goes back up to 1. And likewise on the negative x-axis, the graph goes down first to minus 1 at negative 90 degrees. It then goes back up at minus 180 degrees. It then goes up to 1 at minus 270 degrees, then goes back down at minus 360 degrees. And then from minus 360 to minus 450, the cycle repeats, so it goes down back to minus 1. Now let's look at y equals cos of x. So this has a maximum value of 1 and a minimum value of minus 1, just like y equals sine of x. However, this graph starts at 1 when x equals 0. So starting at 1, the graph goes down at 90 degrees. It then goes down to minus 1 at 180 degrees, then goes back up at 270 degrees, then goes up to 1 at 360 degrees, then goes back down at 450 degrees. Then likewise on the negative x-axis, the graph goes down at minus 90 degrees, down to minus 1 at minus 180 degrees, up at minus 270, then up to 1 at minus 360, and then down at minus 450. Finally, let's look at the graph of y equals tan of x. Now this graph has asymptotes, which are straight lines where the curve approaches but never crosses these lines. And these asymptotes occur at the following values. So the first asymptote occurs at 90 degrees, and asymptotes are represented by dotted lines. We also have an asymptote at 270 degrees. We also have an asymptote at 450 degrees. Likewise, on the negative x-axis, we have an asymptote at minus 90 degrees. We have an asymptote at minus 270 degrees. And we also have an asymptote at minus 450 degrees. Now the graph starts at the origin and it curves up, getting closer and closer towards this first asymptote, but never crossing it. So the shape looks somewhat like this. And then from 90 degrees to 180 degrees, the curve now starts at the bottom here, and it goes up and then curves back up towards the next asymptote at 270 degrees. And this pattern repeats again and again. Likewise then, on the negative x-axis, from the origin to minus 90 degrees, the curve goes down towards the asymptote. And then from minus 90 degrees to minus 270 degrees, the curve starts up from the top, goes down, and then goes down towards this asymptote. And this pattern repeats again and again.